If you're wondering how to practically use scripture creatures to strengthen your kids' faith, help them understand the Bible, here's a few recommendations. We talked about in a previous video how you can just treat each card like a mini devotional, ask questions, help your kids respond to the wisdom underneath this main idea and connect it to other parts of the story. So what I want to focus on here is the actual organization of themes. So you can string together chronologically the different parts of a story. This set focuses on the Jonah story, but I want to show you what you can do when it comes to biblical themes. For example, Rebjaw here and Flee Swift are both the dark element, and they connect to the theme of chaos within the Bible, if you're not familiar. And so what I can do is, if I'm just going to do a kind of theme study with my kids, I might take 2 or 3 of the chaos creatures and begin asking questions. Rebjaw represents rebellion against God, right? And then Flee Swift, it represents in Jonah 1:3, like there's this attempt to run from God. How do the two ideas connect? How are they related? How are they different? Why do you think Jonah ran? Why is that rebellion? And you start to kind of bring the kids back to the scripture, right? And then you can connect the different wisdom at the bottom here. Rebjaw reminds us disobeying God's the wrong choice. Flee Swift reminds us that, sin has consequences. So you just start to ask questions around these things, make connections. This is obviously coming from the same verse, but it's more fun when you begin to connect these to later verses. For example, you get to Jonah 1:5, and another creature that is of the darkness element of the chaos theme is Counterflip. Counterflip is from Jonah 1:5. It's the concept of fake protection, false security. Jonah's running to something as a false refuge. So I just want to begin thinking through, hey, how does rebellion lead to this sense of feeling false security? Like, is there anything in your life? Have you ever had that moment, kids, where you did the wrong thing and you felt safe only to realize later that, oh, you were not safe? Have you ever tried to run from doing the right thing? And you just start to ask questions. I'm not going to tell you how to use these. This is just honestly what I do with my kids. I'll just get them to think through, make connections to the theme of chaos. How does rebellion cause chaos in our world and in our lives? Have you experienced moments where you rebelled and you fell for the lie that you're safe and it actually caused chaos? You begin to explain what's chaos, simple things like that. So I hope this is helpful. This is just a way to connect cards to their corresponding biblical themes, and then to begin asking questions. And then you can trace the application back to the biblical theme. How does chaos connect to this wisdom here, which is Counterflip reminds us that there's great danger in running from God, right? It seems like running from God is actually running straight into chaos. So, I hope this was helpful. Tune in for another video.